Welcome to the Australian Championship.
Shot up the post and in. Continue to make history.
This rivalry burns as bright as ever.
That is just spectacular. It's incredible. Very clever.
For the Metro Stars. This could be a bit of suicide here. The ball's worked across, and that is a lovely strike. Now a chance for the Metro Stars. It was taken down the area. It will be down. Slides at home. Metro Stars are on their way, potentially. You can hear the fans. They've won. That's the key thing. Now they await to see what happens at Leichhardt Oval later on.
Those were the scenes at TK Shuttle Reserve earlier today. Group D hangs in the balance and it goes down to the final day of the Australian Championship group stage. Metro Stars have done as much as they can, and on a weekend where we've seen groups decided by as little as a single goal, we could be set for similar scenes at Leichhardt Oval. West's APIA, Metro Stars and Bayswater City all locked on 10 points as we speak. Only 2 of those 3 will play in the quarterfinals next weekend. All to play for at Leichhardt Oval as the club from Sydney's inner west, West's APIA, host the West Australian Premiers, Bayswater City. This has all the makings of a fantastic game of football. There is so much to play for, and thank you for joining us wherever you are watching. If you're a West APIA fan in the stands or at home, if you're a Bayswater City fan across the Nullarbor, or maybe you're joining us from Adelaide, hoping a result that goes the Metro Stars way, and then Heidelberg and Marconi have their eyes on this one too, with the quarterfinals pending. This game decides so much here today. A fantastic occasion, a great day for football in Sydney's inner west. You can see the crowd has poured in to Leichhardt Oval. The sun is beaming, not a single cloud, overlooking the 8th wonder of the world at Leichhardt Oval. As all eyes will be on the teams heading out. Last time they met, it was a tight 1-0 win for Bayswater City at Frank Drago Reserve, and Bayswater will be hoping for a similar result, a result which would put them top of the group. There are the 2 teams led out by Sean Simmons and Luis Italiano. Well, there's Luis Italiano just there. And so there's the who you think will win poll. A reminder that you can scan that and have your say on who you think will win via that QR code or the Australian Championship website. As both teams line out in front of what will be a very full Leichhardt Oval grandstand. Not too many fans will want to take over the sunny side on the far side. West APIA taking the field. There is Jack Stewart and Drayden Kelly, the man who is top of the scoring list for West APIA as the 2 teams are out. And as we take a brief moment, the teams will go through the national anthem. Big thanks to the West APIA Choir for delivering us the national anthem. A fitting way to signify the significance of this Australian Championship game between two teams from different states. As the teams shake hands, we'll run you through the lineup, starting first with West APIA. The big team news for Franco Parisi's men is that they are without their key creator, Saya Kambiashi. He is not in the squad at all today. He, of course, picked up their first goal last time against Sydney United 58. Other than that, all the familiar faces are there. Presley Ortiz will be at the top, Franco Farinella alongside him, Jack Stewart and Rory Jordan on the wing, with Fabian Monge and Eddie Caspers holding it down in midfield. Meanwhile, on the Bayswater City end, Matt Sparrow's team, well, they came off their first loss of the Australian Championship campaign against Metro Stars, and he makes 3 changes as a result. Thomas Southgate drops out of the side in place of Mason Tatafu, a like-for-like swap, 2 defenders there. Meanwhile, Deegan Brook and Sean McManus join the attack in place of Patrick Loughley and Oliver Lagalia. And that is all the team news out of the way. There is Franco Parisi looking to lead West's APIA to their quarterfinals. A reminder, he has won everything there is in New South Wales. Premiership, the Championship, and the Waratah Cup, has his eyes now set on the Australian Championship. Now in the opposite dugout will be Matt Sparrow. There is Palmatier and Simmons both going through the pre-match formalities. There is Matt Sparrow looking to repeat the result that caused quite a shock through the group when his side were able to defeat West APIA back in round 3. A tight 1-0 win that day, and no doubt his side will come with a familiar plan as they are wary of APIA's attack. Bayswater City's sturdy defence has been well documented throughout this Australian Championship campaign. There are the 2 captains going through with our referees. Our referees today out in the middle is Jack Morgan, William Samsa and Patrick Telecki are his 2 assistants, and then the 4th official is Tom Dale. There is Jack Morgan taking us through proceedings. They played a very physical affair last time they met. And with so much on the line in today's game, there is no short of feeling and no shortage of stakes in this one. Presley Ortiz at the top of the attack again in the number 9 West APIA jersey. Man that scored the most goals for West APIA in the competition, in the NPL competition that is. This team will be looking to keep him out. What a sturdy defence Bayswater have been, and their attack has been very solid too. Much of it has been made of how hard they are to break down, but the last time against Metro Stars was actually the first time a team kept them scoreless this entire Australian Championship campaign. No doubt Deegan Brook has his eyes on making an impact in that number 27 jersey, just on screen a moment ago, as Bayswater will get us underway in their away strip. Aidan Edwards standing over it. They are in their away fluoro with a dash of blue and black representing their intercolours. Fellow Italian side West APIA in their traditional maroon, and we are underway at Leichhardt Oval. A big up and under by Bayswater to get us started into the shady side of the pitch, and it's all eyes on this one. So many different ways that this game could go. So many different ways that this group could finish. And when we get a bit more of a solid break in play, we'll take you through all the possible permutations and combinations and different results that might lead to a different top 2 as Farinella tries to make his way forward. That is ultimately shut out. Palmatier in possession now for Bayswater. Very striking fluoro kit. As now they look to try and dig it out. It's with Tatafu. Touches inside, that one by Cornice. Tatafu, new inclusion, replacing Southgate at the back today. Simmons gets up for it well with Farinella. Monge is at full stretch to get there. McManus will try and press. As Jack Stewart has to try and play from a deeper position. Cut out well in midfield by Hughes. He has his head up, tries to draw the foul. Nothing doing from Jack Morgan. Now Stewart. This game could be quite an open affair, which APIA will be certainly hoping for. That suits their style of play, especially with the heat. Definitely one of the hotter days in Sydney. Kelly, with his back to goal, has to finds safety in his keeper, Oli Kalatz. West APIA, just the one clean sheet this campaign, back in round one against, sorry, 2 clean sheets rather, back in round 1 and 2 against Metro Stars and Sydney United 58. Kalatz looking for the long option up to Ortiz, but Palmateer is underneath it, and the second attempt are able to work things out defensively between him and Stevens. And so a draw today is good for both teams. West APIA and Bayswater will progress if it is a draw of any combination. West APIA win of any type will mean that West APIA and Metro Stars will finish in the top 2 in that order. Meanwhile, here is Simmons. Back to the rest of them. There's plenty to go through. Simmons, a swerving ball in, and Presley Ortiz was inches away. Italiano had to be quick about it, and he's looking to start a counter-attack of his own. McManus is up there, cutting inside, looking for a delivery, headed away, only as far as Cornice. Now to Tafu. Bayswater looking to turn defense into attack immediately, and Italiano with some superb distribution out of the back there. West APIA can be caught out at times. It has happened to them before. And they do hold a lot of the ball. And especially in this competition, they have found it at times a little difficult to break down set defenses. Metro Stars, Sydney United, that first game against Bayswater, even though they did get results, certainly stifled parts of their attack. There's Palmateer, swinging it out to Mitchinson. And so the other results, Bayswater win of 2 goals or less will mean that Bayswater and West APIA will go through. Bayswater top in that situation. And then a heavy Bayswater win of 3 goals or greater will mean that the Metro Stars will sneak through. So if you're a Metro Stars fan, you're either hoping for an APIA win or a Bayswater win 3-0 or more. So plenty to look out for. And a reminder that the team that finishes second in this group will take on Heidelberg in the quarterfinals, and the team that finishes first in this group will play Marconi. Matt Sparrow watching on. I'm being just keen to have this game played on Bayswater's terms. It's very difficult to travel away. It's been a big part of this group. It was nicknamed the Group of Travel by many in season previews. Trips to Adelaide and West Australia. There's Farinella trying to wiggle his way around Stevens. Stevens holding strong there. Franco Farinella has had a superb breakout season. He comes into midfield, of course, no Yaya El Hindi today. Picked up his 3rd yellow card last time out against Sydney United 58, which means that he does miss today's game, but he will be back should APIA progress through to the final 8. Kalatz. Looking for that distribution to Simmons. It will get to him. Simmons can take it forward. His first touch is good, and now he's looking for an incisive pass. Fallen back out for Farinella. Fong, he joins the attack from fullback. Stewart. Linking up with Ortiz, still with Jack Stewart. Now Simmons, a bit of space for APIA. Simmons lines up, deflected away. And these are positive signs for West APIA. He will be just moving around this Bayswater defence. Simmons, you don't blame him for having a strike. Has a goal to his name in this competition. Caspers trying to use his head there, and Bayswater wiser to that move. McManus looking for that early release pass. It might fall for Brook. And Deegan Brook doing some nice pressing work. Able to keep Michael Kuda penned in. You can see towards the bottom of your screen that grandstand is so full. Simmons. Ortiz had dropped short. Monch has to try and clean it up. It's worked out kindly here for Bayswater. Midfields is Edwards. Now back out wide to Brook. A chipped ball in, it should get to Fong, and he takes no chances, sensing that there were players lurking around him. Both McManus and Mitchinson were gambling at the back post. And it's Mitchinson that's going to take this resulting throw. There they are. It is full house in that Leichhardt Oval main grandstand. Not a lot of room in the shade right now. The Sydney's Inner West has shown out for their team. Kelly goes up for it. It was awkward from APIA. They have it cleared as Davies strikes over. A brief snapshot at goal. And the first one of the game for Bayswater. As APIA unable to convincingly clear. A brief stoppage in play as Fong standing over this one. Fong looking for some options. Ortiz drops off. Now it's with Stewart. To slalom his way through the defense, couldn't do so, and now Bayswater are trying to start this counter-attack. Kelly stops it though, and that'll be the key for West APIA, is preventing that first ball forward. Bayswater are usually so good at going forward, as Brooke is all tangled up with Michael Kuda. There was certainly a bit from each. Jordan. As his progress stopped, and the combination of Tatafu and Cornice end up committing the foul on Rory Jordan. Third season at APIA for their number 11, Rory Jordan. He's looking for his 25th career goal. Big milestone for APIA, that is. Big milestone for him waiting. Just the 14 starts from 25 games in the MPL campaign, mostly in and out of the squad, off the bench a couple of times. It's really hard to get into this West APIA front three. Stewart, Cambiashi, now Costanzo in the mix as well. Segredo out injured at the moment and was injured for a large period of time. Big up and under from Mitchinson out of the back. Kelly has to come across. And you can see Bayswater are continuously testing this APIA back four. Jordan, pass around the corner, will find its way down to Farinella. And go Farinella. Now Sean Simmons. APIA looking to move the ball. Caspers has space and has found Jordan between the lines. Ortiz couldn't quite latch onto it. As West APIA start to turn the screws on this Bayswater defense. Wesley Ortiz trying to impact the game more and more. It's been a real feature of his play in this Australian Championship. His ability to not only finish, but to play make has been a big part of this APIA team. As Stewart can cut inside and shoots. Italiano spills it, but does clean it up in the end. Ortiz was lurking around, but the experienced shot stopper for Bayswater was quick to his feet. And so far, the Bayswater defense has been sturdy as expected. Two clean sheets this Australian Championship campaign. They've actually conceded 4 goals in their last 2 games, which is rather uncharacteristic of them. Meanwhile, Farinella has pinched it in a good area. Has Stewart flanking him. Farinella, big deflection, and first corner of the game will go the way of the hosts. Franco Parisi, watching his side at the moment, will be pleased with how they've started, but trying to create a consistent flow of chances will be key. And Simmons will be tasked with whipping this one in. That left foot of his has been really important for APIA in this Australian Championship campaign. They've been really relying on some of these set pieces as of late. And the result of that has Drayden Kelly with 3 goals through 5 games this championship. Simmons just orchestrating this set piece opportunity. They go short with Stewart. Jack Stewart, edge of the area. Jordan is there, can wind up. And well, they found the man they wanted. And Rory Jordan just couldn't keep it down. But for West APIA, this is a great move. A fantastic pass by Jack Stewart. It sits up well for Jordan. It was bouncing ever so slightly, and that might have contributed to the end result there. As Italiano will take no chances going long. And so far this game has gone as the form guide would suggest. West Apia holding the lion's share of possession, having plenty of chances and moving the ball well. Caspers. Here is Monge. They find Fong, who is in plenty of space and takes the green grass ahead of him. Fong, low driven cross. It might still fall for Jordan, and couldn't quite wrap his foot around it. It got through Farinella and Ortiz as well. He may not have been fully expecting it. As we take a look at the pass from Fong, it's through the traffic and it works out very well to Jordan, and he just lost balance at the crucial moment there. But West Apia will be happy with how they've started. Bayswater will be trying to tighten things up at the back just a little bit. And the game plan would certainly have been to let Apia have a decent amount of the ball, but they're finding ways into the final third with a bit of ease so far. Ortiz, meanwhile, still Presley Ortiz, takes his man on, cutting it back. Just got past Jack Stewart and then cleared away by Davies. And as Giles Davies stepping in at the crucial time there. Apia players were waiting. Again they go, another wave of attack coming for the Marron-Azzurri. Caspers, switch of play. Kuda. Jordan gets past his man, still with Rory Jordan. A good ball in, and it ricochets away from goal. Bit of chaos in the box, but it's still at the feet of West Apia. Monge and Fong. Apia have spent almost this entire first 14 minutes in the opposition half. Now Simmons is getting forward. And no way through that time though. And this was a Bayswater defense that conceded barely any goals through their 22 games in the NPLWA regular season. Just 16 goals conceded from 22 is an outstanding stat. They were the best defense in West Australia by 6 goals. They also scored a truckload of them as well. They scored 53 through 22, so they can put them down the other end. Meanwhile, they have to worry about this attack. Stewart, he tries to take over onto that left foot. Straight onto the chest of Luis Italiano. As Bayswater will be content with efforts like that if they can keep Apia to those sorts of long-range efforts. Luis Italiano, who's been one of the better keepers in this Australian Championship. All that A-League experience coming to fruition in these sorts of big games as he tries to instruct this defense. And as Bayswater look to try and press in a good moment here. They almost come away with it. Brooks' final pass. Couldn't find McManus. So they set their defense a little higher this time. Route one, this opportunity from Kuda. Knotted down by Palmatier and Stevens, and it's turned over rather cheaply by Bayswater. Caspers. Stewart looking for that killer pass, and he's going to find it to Ortiz. Ortiz stands up, waits for his options. Farinella! They made it look easy. Presley Ortiz with a fantastic pass, threading the needle, and Franco Farinella. They won't come much easier than that. Exactly the goal that West Apia were looking for, and exactly the start that they needed at home. As they try and lock up top spot in this group. As we take a look at the replay, a good pass initially from Jack Stewart to Ortiz, it must be said. And then Presley Ortiz is not pressed. He has the time, finds Franco Farinella as they carve it up inside the box. Again, Ortiz just has the patience not to hit it first time, waits for the runners and waits at the perfect moment. And Farinella walks it in for West Apia to take the early lead. His first goal of the Australian Championship, and a well-deserved first goal for Franco Farinella. He is having a breakout 2025, the young midfielder. Just 21 years of age, has really blossomed into a consistent performer for West APIA. 25 appearances, 16 starts for him in what is a stacked midfield with the likes of Monge, Caspers, Kambayashi at times as well, Segredo and Del Hindi. And 5 goals to his name, so he has shown that he can crash into the box at moments like that. And well, of all the goals he's probably scored in his career, they won't come much easier than that. And while there were cheers at Leichhardt Oval, no doubt plenty of cheers over at TK Shutter Reserve, because on the live Group D ladder, Metro Stars are currently in second spot if this result were to hold. And how this might change the approach from Bayswater. How will Matt Sparrow's side respond? They may have to take on the game a bit more, be a bit more proactive perhaps than they have been so far. They've been content with letting West APIA have the ball, and a lovely turn in midfield to get away from trouble. And now they're over the top here. Callats has to come, use his head. McManus was running through. But not McManus, Deegan Brook was running through. And West APIA will be cautious after what happened last week. They took the lead again fairly early against Sydney United 58, only to concede a few minutes later from a set piece. They want to create a bit more of a buffer still. Meanwhile, Bayswater try and go forward. Simmons comes across. Can't quite keep it in there. Jonathan Cornice was trying. Tatafu picks up the interception. Has it at his feet again. Mason Tatafu. Sliding in strongly was Davies. And West APIA won't concede the throw. There is Franco Parisi. David DePuzzo, his assistant as well, both up on their feet right now. This is a critical game in this group. The final stage, it has been anything but a smooth ride for both these two teams. Simmons able to win the header. Caspers had to be quick, looking up with the goal scorer Farinella, and some quick passing by West APIA sees Fong on the far side. Stewart stands his man up. Jack Stewart, this is where he can be dangerous. Cutting inside, onto his left. Farinella again. And he almost had a repeat of his earlier goal. Franco Farinella, that time it was Jack Stewart. He was a little further out on this occasion, Farinella. Didn't have an open goal. But this is a golden opportunity for West APIA to have made it 2-0. As their attack is really finding a lot of success. As Bayswater City get away with one there. They're really finding it difficult to defend these cutbacks at the moment, especially when there is time for the likes of Ortiz and Stewart to find the perfect pass. And so far through 2 attempts, the pass has been on point. And from 1 of 2, they've had the finish. Meanwhile, Bayswater looking to respond quickly. McManus driving wide, has Cooter ahead of him. Now looks for the cross into the mixer. It's going to fall kindly here for Brook. And Deegan Brook, a great first touch to bring it down, but the resulting shot flies over the bar. Fantastic cross by McManus. You can see he just waits and waits and chips it up. Missed header by Kelly, good control by Brook, and he had to get rid of it quickly with Simmons around, and maybe that was enough to put him off. But for Deegan Brook, that's probably Bayswater's best chance of this first half. And so we have an update from Deakin Stadium. It is Northwest Sydney Spirit FC have taken the lead against Canberra, Croatia, a cheap giveaway. And it's Caleb Jackson-Brown that pounces on it. So Spirit are ahead in that contest. Plenty of goals already in the afternoon fixtures. We had some high-scoring games a little earlier. These Australian Championship games have been full of chaos. And that 5-0 yesterday between Marconi and Wollongong as well. Bayswater with the slide it wide from McManus. It just skips away from him on this Leichhardt oval surface. There's Rory Jordan. He's been involved already quite early. They've enjoyed that right side a little bit more, have West Apia, than the left. Now they have to worry about defending. A good opportunity for Bayswater. McManus holding it up, waits for support. Still waiting and has to take it back out for a brief moment. The Apia defence had opened up. Now he puts in another cross. And that time, after a big deflection, Caspers gets it away. And Bayswater can reset. This is the first time this game they've had a real extended spell of possession, and they've already created a couple of chances. What can they do again here to Tafu? Monge is looking to hassle Jonathan Cornice and was a bit too eager. Commits the foul, and with the added heat at Leichhardt Oval, this means we are going to have our first drinks break of the game, as Jack Morgan sends both teams to the benches. So a nice little time for both teams to kind of talk things over. West Apia take the lead early through Franco Farinella, but since then Bayswater have clicked up another gear or two and have been moving the ball well with some serious intent, and that'll be what Matt Sparrow will go over with his team. There are avenues forward for them. As we take you through the first and so far only goal of the game, Jack Stewart just picking that pass so well to Presley Ortiz, and then Palmatier just stands off him a little bit too much, and it allows Franco Farinella to waltz in with his first goal in the Australian Championship campaign. A great pass as Farinella moves between defenders. And so that right now has West Apia top of the group and has Metro Stars in second on goal difference. Reminder, a draw or a win is good enough for Bayswater. As we take you through the fan poll, and well, I wonder if that's been influenced by Apia's first goal, 80-20 in favour of West Apia. Apia were certainly favourites coming into this one, have the slightly better form. So we will resume play. It'll be Bayswater ball, free kick just inside that near sideline. Hughes standing over it. Declan Hughes. There's a chance for an in-swinging right-foot delivery. Maybe they've drawn something up out of the drinks break, akin to a timeout set play or something like that for Matt Sparrow. Something from the training ground may be coming here for Bayswater. Flat delivery, lofted towards the back post. Good save by Kalatz initially, and Bayswater couldn't pounce on the rebound, but again they were very close. And now there's been a foul on Ollie Kalatz. As Bayswater tried to follow through, it was Giles Davies that was closest to trying to tap it in. As we take a look at it one more time, a good delivery initially by Hughes. You can see he floats it up, flat delivery, headed back in towards the area as Davies was trying to throw his head at the ball there and may have landed awkwardly on Kalatz in the process. No ill intent either way. His eyes were for the ball, but it's the nature of these 50-50s, and Kalatz has come off a little worse for wear now. The backup keeper on the bench for Apia is Alex Parks. And Apia will be hoping that Kalatz can continue. It's been a big part of their defence this season. First season at Apia from Sydney United 58. And so he's back out on his feet. He'll be all right to continue the West Apia custodian. There's the Apia bench watching on, keeping a keen eye on their shot stopper. He's not the happiest camper there, Ollie Kallatz. You can see he's just testing it out a little bit, trying to walk it off a little bit. And so it was Bayswater possession. Or was it? Jack Morgan will have to sort it out. Just a drop ball. They'll go back around with Stevens and Palmatier as we're back underway at Leichhardt Oval. Just under 20 minutes remain. APIA trying to press from this position. Goes back to Italiano. Of course, with that other game between Canberra Croatia and Spirit FC, and that current result with Spirit leading means that they will jump over Preston Lions and into second spot. So 2 NPL New South Wales teams vying for their place in the quarterfinals, looking to join Marconi. Good turn by Stevens, just shakes off Rory Jordan briefly. Hughes out wide to Palmatier. Back it is with Hughes again. He's happy to sit between the central defenders. Bayswater content to be patient in possession right now. Palmatier. It's APIA's turn to defend. This is continued a trend we've seen since APIA took the lead. Bayswater have had a decent amount of the ball as now APIA tried to win it back on this touch. Brook does enough to keep it and Bayswater can recycle the ball. McManus dropping off the line. He's done this a couple of times, Sean McManus. Strong challenge by Casper's. Play continues. Clean says the referee. Bayswater wanted a free kick. Ortiz heading it down for Farinella. One back in midfield well by Edwards. And that one will attract the whistle of Jack Morgan. Aiden Edwards doing well to win. Good free kick for his side here. Not too dissimilar position to the one they had out of the drinks break. Aiden Edwards back on his feet after that challenge. He's joined Bayswater by way of Coburn City. Made a couple of appearances for the Perth Glory side, including against the Melbourne Victory in Australian Cup. There's some fans watching on. In comes the free kick and it'll bounce and bounce easily enough for Ollie Kallatz. See that grandstand nice and full and a good throw out from Kallatz to Stewart. Stewart, he's held back, but play will continue here for APIA. Still with Stewart, a good ball in. And that time, West APIA comes so close, it's Monge who was sliding in at the near post, and APIA are feeling that Jack Stewart was dragged there. There was certainly some contact. It was a question of to what degree, as Monge tries to add the second goal, joining Franco Farinella as midfielders to score. Speaking of Melbourne Victory, Fabian Monge, of course, back at his second stint with APIA. Mid-season signing from Melbourne Victory, where he made 33 appearances for them. Twelve appearances in the last A-League season. So he returns to APIA, where he had a lot of success, which got him that A-League contract. Since he's joined in midfield, has added just a constant presence, able to win back the ball and able to distribute it well. Almost scored there. Simmons, his turn to exploit some space. Sean Simmons, swerving delivery, can't beat the first defender. Farinella will try and keep it at APIA's feet. He goes in rather high. And Cornice is on the ground, feeling it, clutching at his face there. It was certainly high from Farinella. He might count himself a little lucky that it's just a foul. As we have a look. Second replay. There goes Farinella. It's not Cornice, rather it's Davies. And Davies has certainly felt that one. I'll be hoping that he's okay. He's currently the top scorer for Bayswater in this Australian Championship. Italiano. See if they go long again, Bayswater. Looks like they will do so. They win the knockdown. Bayswater looking for this goal, maybe before the break. Manus is fighting off a couple of APIA defenders. The numbers get the better of him. Jordan is, Ortiz rather, is out there. The early release. Presley Ortiz doesn't have much in the way of support. It's now starting to arrive. Ortiz, the step overs, the shot, palmed away by Italiano. Got a big left hand to that. And as Bayswater can't jumpstart that counter attack, APIA wiser to it on this occasion. Simmons has picked out Monge on the edge. Caspers, they move it wide to Fong. He tries from range, and Italiano saw that all the way. He's been very busy, as expected, has Luis Italiano, the former Perth Glory, Wellington, and most recently Newcastle Jet. Fong is in a foot race and beats McManus to it, takes no chances, but Bayswater will get a throw in deep in the attacking half. And you can just see Sean McManus is going to do a lot of heavy running up there. He's been a little isolated at times. Kalatz looking to set his defense. A long throw could be coming from Mitchinson. Instead he goes short as Edwards slips over it, but they'll still have it here, Bayswater. They can recycle the ball and move it all the way back to Luis Italiano. Tatafu heads on, but no one's there to assist him. Simmons. Caspers gets the call of turn, as does Monge. They're looking for that far side here, West APIA. Kelly is out there. Quiet game by Drayden Kelly's standards. We might see him pop up a little later, as he's been accustomed to this Australian Championship campaign with some late set-piece goals. As they work it wide, Jack Stewart in possession. Can he take his man and find a similar pass? And not quite what he had in mind. But, well, a bit of a smile from Jack Stewart, and it's not all bad because APIA have a corner. As we have a look, as Stewart was trying to drag it inside, and Mitchinson just stood up, and I'll take the corner here, APIA. Second of the game for them. So last time Simmons and Stewart were out there, they worked something short. What will they go with this time? A combination play that found Rory Jordan edge of the area. He is there again, is Rory Jordan. A similar option, and they've done it again here. Top of the box is Jordan. And a carbon copy of their earlier corner. Again, it's Rory Jordan they find. But unfortunately for him, that's his second strike over the bar. And Matt Sparrow barking out some instructions to his team, perhaps feeling that they should have known that was coming. As APIA try to win it back in a good area. Bayswater do well to keep it, as Hughes putting it back in. Well, Stewart is wanting to put it in the correct position. Well, the correct position he thought. Bit of gamesmanship between the teams. Reminder that there is a lot at stake as it stands. Metro Stars in second spot, West APIA in first. And Bayswater on the outer, needing at least a draw. Kelly is looking to shepherd it here. He's given away here, has Drayden Kelly. Has to atone for his mistake. McManus picks it up, and there is Kelly, who didn't look confident initially, but eventually able to get it away from danger. And Bayswater just asking a couple of questions. They've done that a couple of times this first half. Still looking for that breakthrough past this West APIA defence. Goes back to Palmateer, and Bayswater will come again. Stevens back to Italiano, and now Palmateer. Happy to be patient, of course, just the one goal right now for Bayswater means no real urgency just yet. Any sort of positive result will help them. A difficult delivery for APIA to deal with. Fong and Kelly were allowing it to bounce, and so they've had to clear it out over the sideline here. Bayswater with a few minutes remaining in this first half. This is maybe where they might be able to jag something before the break. A good cross in. Tatafu had drifted forward. He's got two APIA players for company, and well, that's going to be the first corner of the game for the visitors. Move on to Mason Tatafu. He's joined from Hume City, another player that's made a couple of appearances for Perth Glory. There's a few players like that that have featured in this Bayswater team. 3 appearances for the Glory. Made his debut against Ulsan Hyundai in the 2020 Asian Champions League campaign. Another competition to his name. So Hughes over the resulting corner. What do Bayswater have here? Towards the penalty spot. It was a little shallow. Lofted up into the sky by McManus. It's nodded on. Caspers is there. And as Palmatier tried to put it back into the mixer. Bayswater still have it though. Corners. Moved on by Edwards. Palmatier thought about the long option. Ortiz is trying to shut this down. Corners again. Stewart is just there. And his APIA are doing well to force Bayswater temporarily backwards at least. And we'll go all the way back from Tatafu to Italiano. Palmatier. Edwards has dropped off. We've seen a few players do this. Hughes, like on the ball now, has done it. It allows Tatafu and Mitchinson to get further forward, as APIA might try and expose that. Bayswater work things out defensively though. Ball just going out over the sideline, right in front of the West APIA bench. And Jordan is waiting for some support to arrive. He looks for the quick option. Farinella has found himself here. Franco Farinella! And he has 2 on the day for West APIA. They caught the Bayswater defence out. A simple throw from Jordan to Farinella. And again, Franco Farinella finds the back of the net for APIA. As we take a look at the replay here, Bayswater were just looking to sort out their defence, and a simple throw from Jordan to Farinella, and he slams it in at the near post. They were caught off guard there with Bayswater defence, and Franco Farinella and Rory Jordan took full advantage of that. Usually they're so well structured, Bayswater, and that time they were just caught out. Stevens had to chase and couldn't get there, and Franco Farinella has made his 2 goals this afternoon look very, very comfortable. As he becomes the first West APIA player to score a brace in this competition, as he has 2 goals to his name. And it's a goal that further cements West APIA's place at top spot of this group. And more cheers from over in Adelaide, making it more difficult for Bayswater to snaffle a draw from this game, which means the Metro Stars currently still occupying that 2nd spot. Stewart. APIA looking to maybe get a 3rd before halftime. It would be a killer blow for Bayswater. Jordan. Still Jordan. Looking to take on another defender. Bayswater clear their lines, but again, they'll be disappointed with how they've been opened up on these 2 goals. He's practically walked in by Farinella for his first. And he made it look easy for his second. Trying to work it down the right base where it's taken away though. Monge is going to slide for this. Edwards picks it up. McManus back to goal. Now it's with Deegan Brook. Caspers came and took it from him. There's a lot of space out there now for APIA. The heat certainly playing a factor. A very open game, which, as we highlighted at the start of the broadcast, was always going to suit West Apia. It's an expansive Leichhardt Oval pitch. And still over at Deakin Stadium. It is Spirit who still lead by a goal to nil. As New South Wales looking for 3 sides in this quarterfinals. Marconi have already booked their spot. As Costanzo might be getting some instructions there from Franco Parisi. I wonder if they're looking at a halftime change maybe. In comes the long throw. Edwards couldn't get there ahead of Stewart. Ortiz and Farinella. It'd be extremely unlikely for Farinella to pick up a hat-trick, but the way he's playing and the way he's making these late runs forward, we wouldn't put it past him. Stewart gets away from Palmatier. Jack Stewart cleared away by Edwards. And he had to acrobatically readjust. Cross was coming behind him. Fong. 3rd goal would basically be Apia there in the quarterfinals. Casper's flag has stayed down. He has a bit of time to try and find something. Now it's with Monge and Stewart. Apia still moving the ball. Chipped over towards Ortiz. A little heavy though. Tatafu tracks back and toe pokes it out of play. The West Apia corner. As we have a look again, West Apia able to find some space in the box. You could see what the intent was from Stewart to find Ortiz. And so Jack Stewart will make the long trip over. There is Matt Sparrow and his coaching staff watching on. Their quarterfinals hopes on the line in this game. They need 2 goals at least. Stewart looking to add a 3rd. It was a little heavy. We'll get to the man that he was looking for, Drayden Kelly. The centre-back on centre-back between him and Palmatier. Here's Kelly. Tries the step-overs. And Palmatier wasn't buying it. Caspers towards Stewart. Finds him. Cornice is underneath it, but Simmons marshals him well. And the chances have dried up a little recently for Bayswater. They had that spell for about 10-15 minutes between the 1st and 2nd goals where they looked like they were a real chance at getting something. Might be just able to ride that wave of pressure and find an unlikely source of goal. I don't see too many teams score from a quick throw. As Kalatz is there to play sweeper keeper. Simmons. Out wide to Jordan, who's dropped deep to receive it, and it means he has a bit of room ahead of him. Ortiz makes his run off the line. He's onside. Presley Ortiz. Still with Ortiz. Going one way, then the other. Was searching for that top corner. Wasn't too far away. As we'll have 3 minutes of time added on. No doubt a drinks break and a couple of stoppages with Kalatz being down, having something to do with that. And Bayswater have 3 minutes to try and finish the break on a more positive note. Give themselves a bit of optimism heading into the Leichhardt Oval sheds. Kelly strong enough in the air to win it. As he goes at the 2nd attempt over the top of Deegan Brook. Been under from Fong. Stevens. Tatafu. Calling for it in midfield was Hughes as he finds a speculative ball wide. And we'll get to McManus. What can Bayswater do? A good opportunity here. Towards the edge of the area, Monge gets away from it, and again, Mitchinson might have a long throw for potentially Bayswater's last opportunity of this half. It's Kalatz. We're going to keep the troops in order ahead of him. And Mitchinson is going to leave this for Stevens. Now, this is a familiar sight to the round one with Jackson Stevens coming across from the left side. No member of the crowd there with the ball to create confusion as it's a looping throw by Stevens. Tatafu on the strike. And he was turning on the left foot, trying to swivel that into the near post. And there's a looping throw from Jackson Stevens, wasn't cleared. As we take a look at the replay, it's in a good area for Tatafu. Made a decent enough connection with it, got good power. Didn't quite have the direction though from a tight angle. As Kalatz goes along the ground to Simmons, almost turning it over. Eventually does so. Good work by the Bayswater defence. And Simmons rather late on Hughes. And Declan Hughes has been working rather tirelessly at the base of this midfield, trying to win back and distribute possession for Bayswater. 25-year-old Englishman, previously of ECU Joondalup, and now returning to Bayswater for his second stint at the club since 2020, the man on screen. Ball into the area is good. Kelly is under it, and well, APIA clear it at the second attempt again. They haven't exactly looked too comfortable under some of these deliveries that Bayswater are putting in. So maybe that's something for both benches to perhaps look at. We've now had 3 minutes and Jack Morgan whistles for half-time. So at the break at Leichhardt Oval, it's 2 goals for Franco Farinella, and it is 2 goals for West Apia that right now have them top of the group. The Metro Stars in second spot, and as Bayswater need at least 2 to keep their Australian Championship campaign going. So half-time at the break, it is West Apia 2, Bayswater City 0.
West Apia, the new name for a re-emerging football power. But what's the story behind it? Apia is synonymous with the Inner West, from Lambert Park to Leichhardt Oval. When they get a shot on the national stage, these guys win. From an NSL championship in the 80s to cup sets in the 21st century. Apia's are arguably the best of them.
He spots Margos off his line. It's an absolute stunner from Tynan Diaz.
So the West Apia name is about buying in for a bright future, continuing the legacy that's seen so much success.
Tips the ball again after Sakia getting around his man. Oh, it's 2! A thunderous finish.
And there's been a space cleared in the Joe Marston Pavilion for what the club hopes will be its next trophy. The trophy handed out for winning the Australian Championship. You can't start a new competition without Bayswater City. Who was the first premier and champion of the NPL era in WA? Bayswater. First WA representative in the NPL National Finals? Bayswater. In the hat for the first ever FFA Cup National Round of 32.
Bayswater Inter.
So it should come as no surprise that the boys from Frank Drago Reserve are the West's sole representative for the next grand opening. Having toiled through a modest and merger-filled history, Bayswater City exploded into their golden era in the 2010s. A three-peat, the jewel in the crown.
A big-time goal! And Bayswater are going to win the league tonight!
And now Bayswater City has ended an 8-year wait to peak again and top the league in Western Australia to book their place in the Australian Championship.
So these are the scenes from Leichhardt Oval, a full grandstand on this near side to watch what has so far been a dream first half for West Apia. 2-0. They lead at the break and they've been looking fairly comfortable, all things considered, in possession. Bayswater have had a couple of chances as the fans watch on from the grandstand, and even a few out on the hill, taking it all in from the sunnier side of the 8th wonder of the world. So here are the chances from the first 45. This was Apia's first goal. Presley Ortiz waiting, and then he took his moment, and Franco Farinella able to walk it in from a couple of yards into an empty net. A picture-perfect assist from Presley Ortiz, who's been making a real habit of getting involved in goals and not just being the man on the end of moves, but also the man creating them. Here is Jack Stewart. And another big chance for Franco Farinella. He could have well had a hat-trick in that first half, as it was heads in hands for West APIA players as that shot blazed over the bar. But then Bayswater came into the game after that first goal. This was a good opportunity for Deegan Brook. Couldn't keep his shot under the bar, as they would try and test APIA via the air. As this was the second goal, as Bayswater defense just were caught at a vital moment as Farinella slams it in past Luis Italiano to notch his second goal of the game, his second in the Australian Championship, and double West's APIA's advantage just before the break. Made it look very, very comfortable. Farinella, who's been playing with an air of confidence as the 21-year-old midfielder. A good opportunity to end the half. Stevens with a looping throw. It fell to Mason Tatafu. Couldn't wrap his foot around it enough, as that would bring the first half to a close for Bayswater City, as they are looking for 2 goals at least to keep their campaign going. So that's the halftime stats, and well, it tells the story of the first 45. West APIA with plenty of shots, plenty on target, as they have dominated the ball and really found ways forward in the final third. Bayswater have had their shots at times. We'll be looking to really bring some fire in this second half and start and be extremely proactive, as they have 45 minutes to keep their quarterfinals hopes intact. So here are the highlights from all the games that have been so far through this final round. This was a fantastic strike for Kojima and Morton City. This would end up being a 6-goal thriller up at Perry Park, as South Melbourne would continue their undefeated streak. They wouldn't be perfect though, searching for that 6th win, because Morton City would get one back in the 75th minute. Important goal for them, which means they progress to the quarterfinals. Yankovic popping up there to seal Morton City's advantage into the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, there's Carpenter popping up with a goal for Avondale against Preston in the all-MPL Victorian clash, as Preston would eventually find their way back. A fantastic pass from Romero to Markovsky, the looping header, if you don't mind. A result which would temporarily keep Preston in second spot, and this was arguably the most entertaining game of the weekend. Wollongong Wolves needed 6 goals against Marconi to leapfrog them into second spot, and they would come oh so close, as they would pick up this 5th goal here. Tate Russell juggling it and finishing past Hilton to make it 5-0 with 5 minutes to go. And this was the chance that could have been Wollongong 6, and an unlikely comeback. Kan Izumi inches away from heading it past Hilton, as that was the chance for Wollongong to complete what would have been a miracle, as they miss out on the top 2 by just a goal. And this was the earlier game between Broadmeadow and Sydney Olympic. A fantastic free kick by Ryan Fuchs. This one ultimately for naught, as Morton City had already locked up top 2 spot, as this chip would eventually go in from Parkhouse, getting past the keeper. Meanwhile, Heidelberg would travel to South Hobart. Heidelberg, of course, already having locked up top spot in their group. So this one was a nice little tune-up, as, of course, Heidelberg finishing top means that they will play the team that finishes second out of Group D, this particular group between APIA, Bayswater and Metro Stars, which is currently Metro Stars. And South Hobart, we get a 2-2 draw over there. Now, this was the earlier game in this group. Chittadini popping up nice and early. The perfect start for Metro Stars, as they would pounce on an error from Sydney United 58. And then this was the later goal, the one to seal the win, as Rose was caught with that outstretched right foot. Gow putting it past the keeper, putting it past Orlovich, and putting Metro Stars into second position on the live ladder. Now here's the other concurrent game between Deakin Stadium, or at Deakin Stadium, between Canberra Croatia and Northwest Sydney Spirit FC. Caleb Jackson Brown pouncing on an error of his own, or of Canberra Croatia's own, to have Spirit FC temporarily in second spot on the live ladder. So here is how all the groups shake up. Group A and Group B, all that's already been decided. Heidelberg and Marconi will advance from Group B. South Melbourne and Morton City from Group A. So Heidelberg will play the team that finishes second in this group, Group D, which is currently Metro Stars. As you can see on the live ladder, a draw is enough for Bayswater to get past Metro Stars, but they're going to need something in this second half. Meanwhile, Spirit and Avondale on pace to progress from Group C. Spirit, of course, needing a win in the game they currently lead. So here is all the fixtures. Of course, those last two, those games down the bottom, Metro Stars and Bayswater, crucial for this group. A 3-3 between Sydney Olympic and Moreton City. It's been goals galore across the weekend, including that 5-0 between Marconi and Wollongong. Those are the results from last week, of course. And so we'll be back soon at Leichhardt Oval. It's all to play for in Group D between West APIA and Bayswater City. There are the results from this week and how things currently stand. West APIA over Bayswater City. Spirit leading over Canberra, Croatia. And we'll be back with the second 45 in this final Group D game from Leichhardt Oval. Welcome back to Leichhardt Oval. The teams are back out for a huge and group-defining second 45. That man on screen, Franco Farinella, 2 goals to his name. So far have APIA sitting nice and pretty atop Group D in what would be a home quarter-final against their Derby d'Italia rivals Marconi next week. What a contest that would be. And there's Bayswater still in with a shout. They need 2 goals at least. A draw will do for them. A draw will be enough to get them into second spot in this group. And Metro Stars will be bumped out, of course, if that happens. Metro Stars currently have a date with Heidelberg awaiting them if this result were to hold. There are the APIA 11 standing side by side. 45 minutes separates them from quarterfinals. And as Jack Morgan will continue to take us through proceedings. No cards through that first 45. A physical game, but played with plenty of fairness. As Ortiz standing over it, he of course picked up the assist for Farinella's first goal. Just has the 1 goal to his name in this competition as part of that 4-0 win against Sydney United 58 in their first game at Leichhardt Oval. As APIA look to continue their perfect record, or sorry, undefeated record at Leichhardt Oval in this competition, have a win and a draw to their name when playing in Sydney's Inner West. They're actually undefeated in Sydney. Meanwhile, there's a man down in back play. We might just return to that. This doesn't look too good for Bayswater. As Mitchinson has come across to try and help his teammate here. And the physios are immediately out as we take a look at the replay as to what happened. As the pass comes forward. And then goes down. Clutching at that ankle, perhaps. It looks like it's Sean McManus down there. And it looks like he'll be all right enough to get at least back to his feet. They'll be hoping that their striker can get back out there immediately, as he's going to hobble off the pitch rather uncomfortably here. Man who has 6 goals to his name in the NPL, 6 assists to go with that as well, so he can score and can create, and Matt Sparrow will be keen to try and keep him out there for as long as possible. Of course, no Loffrey, no Legalia in the squad. Both those two can attack, and both those two started last week. Now not in the squad at all today. And Zapia try and go forward. McManus is back out there, so Bayswater aren't down to 10 for too long. Meanwhile, Jordan has come back from an offside position. Or rather, the ball was just out of play. No, he was offside in the end. So Bayswater, they'll be keen to try and score nice and early in this first half. Try and put this APIA defence under real pressure. No doubt plenty watching on over across in Western Australia. Maybe even you're watching from South Australia if you're a Metro Stars fan. Maybe you're watching in Melbourne if you're a Heidelberg supporter, watching to see which team you will play in the quarterfinals. Ortiz looking to go on the attack early. Gets away briefly from his defender. As Bayswater eventually sort things out defensively. Farinella is working very hard in midfield to keep possession at APIA's feet before it's turned over. Now Bayswater thinking of this counter perhaps. Lofted up and well dealt with by Michael Kuda. Over Deegan Brook, David DePuzzo and Franco Parisi. I wonder what that halftime team talk looked like for his team. Parisi playing ball boy for a little bit. There he is, the APIA legend, a modern APIA legend, has had a lot of success at this venue as a player and as a coach. As part of those Australia Cup runs with the team as a player. And as a coach last year when they were able to get the win against, well, earlier this year I should say, against Melbourne City. And they won at this venue against the reigning A-League champions. Actually has his number retired by West APIA, the number 10 jersey. has been retired in his honour. Here's Stewart. Taken away by Edwards. It'll stay up his ball. They're happy to just slow the game down a little bit. Able to play in the shade as well. That shadow becoming larger with the sun setting behind the Western Grandstand. Another heavy challenge on McManus. That time it's by Kelly. Kelly couldn't clear it. Play on, says the referee, and well, that one will draw Jack Morgan's whistle. Aiden Edwards being chopped down there, I think, by Caspers. As we have a look at all the challenges that go, there's Kelly on McManus. McManus tries to return serve, then Kelly wins it back cleanly. McManus gets him at the second attempt, and then it's actually Fong who brings down Aiden Edwards. And Jack Morgan has been happy to let play go. Happy to let the teams have at each other, within reason, of course. And so Hughes. His delivery has been good so far. Declan Hughes towards the back post. Kalatz came and punched. Good keeping there. Palmatier was amongst the crowd at the back stick. Now, APIA have won it in a good position. Caspers, forward from Ortiz. Here is Caspers, looking for Jack Stewart. Too close to Italiano, who is imploring his defence to try and tighten things up a little bit. As there was a slip which just opened things for Caspers. APIA couldn't take full advantage of it just yet. Second ball is down. McManus couldn't win it, and now Fong is tripped after being the infringing party a little earlier. That time he's on the receiving end of one is Cameron Fong. He's had a stellar first season at APIA from St. George City. Previously of the Sydney FC Academy, is the right fullback. Lovely pass by Jordan to find Simmons. Ortiz is in the area. Can't find the shooting angle. Now he does. And it's wide of the goal from Presley Ortiz, but it took a deflection. And so APIA will take this corner. And again, Rory Jordan is creating some influence on that side. Got it wide to Simmons. And Ortiz, just when you thought he couldn't find the angle, created a half a metre of space on Palmatier, who had to slide in to keep it away. And as APIA get their first corner of the second half. Fans watching on, and one might be trying to get on the pitch there. And they're so excited to see their team play. Stewart, good ball again. Drayden Kelly is the target. A bit too heavy for him that time though. Mitchinson. APIA will try and box Bayswater in. Fong in the air. It goes to Edwards. He heads it out. There is Fong. Short option to Monge. Monge through the legs of the defender. Now here is Jordan. Fluoro shirts all ahead of him. Rory Jordan tried to take him on himself, and there was just too many in the way. McManus couldn't retrieve the ball right in front of the Bayswater defence. So APIA just keeping the ball in this area of the pitch, which is where they'll be happy to have it. McManus is told to try and get under that, and he almost does so. It's going to fall nicely for Bayswater potentially. Cries of handball are eventually heeded. There's Charles Davies. Couldn't win the second ball as we have a look. There is McManus trying to get past Kuda. And then a smidge of an arm on the second one there from Giles Davies. The ball has been stuck on this right side of the pitch for a little while. I think that's got something to do with the large patch and growing patch of shade that is there. A reminder, we will have a drinks break in this second half, as we did for the first. So expect that around the midway point, around the 70th minute maybe. Hot day in Sydney, but it's been a fantastic game so far. A game played with a real sense of occasion, considering what's at stake. And there's Italiano. Long option, Kelly chests it, but it's going to fall for Bayswater again, and Monge, no foul doing there. Bayswater were looking for something. Farinella between the lines has time to pick out the pass as it swerves Out to Jack Stewart, looking to take on Tatafu. Stewart, and still Jack Stewart. Did well to create the angle, but just couldn't hit the target there, Jack Stewart. And that's where he can be so good, when he cuts inside past defenders. Got past Tatafu, had him committed on the slide, and then unable to work Italiano from the top of the box. Former Mount Druitt Town Ranger. Tatafu, first time we've seen him get forward in this second half. We've seen Bayswater try and use their fullbacks, Mitchinson and Tatafu, have been given license to go forward, and Tatafu had a big chance right before the break. As now it looks like APIA might be going to their bench very soon, and Dom Costanzo could be injected into this attack. Franco Parisi may be sensing that they want this third goal to make it a bit more of a sure thing. Meanwhile, Bayswater have this long throw opportunity perhaps, and Jackson Stevens, who is the specialist, is going to go across to take. We saw Tatafu's chance that I just spoke of come from a Jackson Stevens throw in. What do Bayswater have up their sleeve on this occasion? Stevens, in it goes, it's drilled towards the near post. Kelly is there with Palmatier. And the combination of that means APIA briefly clear their lines, but not all that convincingly. Stewart's touch was heavy, invited Edwards into the play. And Cornice unable to dance along the sideline. That rolls out of play. Stewart, oh, didn't like that challenge and immediately turns to McManus, and well, those two have a bit of a coming together, and Stewart goes down and McManus has been sent off for that challenge, and Bayswater will have to complete the 2-goal comeback down a man after their striker Sean McManus went in late and from behind on Jack Stewart, and he is sent off after 56 minutes. As we take a look at the replay, oh, that is certainly rather incriminating on Sean McManus. The studs were on the ankle of Jack Stewart, and as angry as Stewart was, he couldn't hold his feet for too long. I think because of the impacts of that challenge, as he's now receiving treatment on the field. And then APIA, who are already without Segredo, of course, no Saya Kambiyashi today. We'll be hoping that Jack Stewart, who has been one of their key contributors, is all right. And I think the motion from the APIA physio has been that he will not continue any further in this game. And now Dom Costanzo was already warming up. Whether it was for Stewart or not, I'm not sure, but I think in any case, whatever the change was from Franco Parisi, it looks like Dom Costanzo will replace Jack Stewart. And it looks like it will be a double change as well. Alex Denmead is going to be injected as well, and Jack Stewart is in some real discomfort after that. So Alex Denmead is on, as is this man, Dom Costanzo, as Rory Jordan and Jack Stewart take their early leave. One is forced as Stewart heads down the tunnel. And hopefully that is not the last we see of him in this Australian Championship. Meanwhile, so it's like for like, with APIA 2 attackers on, 2 attackers on. And it's an interesting change from an APIA perspective for Franco Parisi. Of course, this side are 2 goals up with a man up now as well. And so you would forgive him for making a more defensive-minded change, trying to preserve their 2-goal buffer. But they might not be happy with just the 2 here. APIA want to kill this game. And this is a real task now for Bayswater. Down a man without their striker. Down on the scoreboard too, Tatafu. Costanzo looking to win it back in a good position. And the last touch off Costanzo, who was trying to win himself a corner there. a rather interesting mood around Leichhardt Oval after that red card. Of course, APIA in a good position, but it won't be all good news with that potential injury for Jack Stewart. And they have the depth, of course, West APIA, a rather enviable amount of depth, being able to bring on Dom Costanzo, who's been lively in his couple of minutes since coming on. He's won his side a good free kick here. And of course, Costanzo, last APIA played at Leichhardt Oval, Costanzo was the man that was sent off. Sent off for a straight red after a challenge against the Metro Stars in the 93rd minute late in the piece, after West APIA had equalised. So he's no stranger to a bit of drama, is Dom Costanzo. He's standing over this free kick for APIA. Low and driven, cleared away by Jackson Stevens. Chipped pass by Costanzo. Great vision to find Fong as now they work this right-hand side APIA. Fong between the lines for Farinella, looking for his hat-trick maybe. Out wide it goes. Dom Costanzo chipping it back post. A couple inches too high for Presley Ortiz. And there's APIA looking to dictate the terms of this final half an hour or so. Everything going their way right now. Long from Italiano. And Bayswater's route to goal will be more direct, maybe if they can get something from an APIA mistake or on a counter-attack perhaps. Catch APIA unawares. Slip by Caspers might invite that. As Edwards has to try and press on Fong, and Fong skips away from him. Finds his keeper, Kalatz. And the spare man out wide is Simmons. He can take it forward. There's all the space on offer for him. Costanzo. Can't get past Tatafu, and there will be an APIA corner though. Those changes working well for Franco Parisi so far. Dom Costanzo showing his quality, of course. If APIA are to hold this result as it stands, they would face Costanzo's former side, Marconi Stallions, in a Derby d'Italia quarter-final, which would be played here at Leichhardt Oval. Mind you, keep an eye on all the Australian Championship socials and the website for the quarter-final fixtures and timings. Costanzo. Again, it's another low ball. That time it's cleared away well by Bayswater. Throw taken quickly. Back to Costanzo. This time closer to Italiano and a bit too close as he plucks that out of the sky. Mitchinson has Denmead tracking him back. Searching ball up top, and it's allowed to bounce between Kuda and Kalatz, and Kuda just had to get out of the way there. Deegan Brook was waiting for an error. Kuda was able to get out of his keeper's way there. I think Deegan Brook is going to just sit up top now for Bayswater. Denmead. Can't thread the needle for Farinella this time. Mitchinson takes it away though. Kelly is strong in the challenge. Go away from Brook. Bayswater can't work it. Cornice. Now Hughes goes in and shoulder to shoulder. Very strong and very clean. Challengers starting to have an extra bit of feeling in them perhaps. Costanzo now. We're going to take over this game. Still Dom Costanzo. Stands up Mason Tatafu. Costanzo's cross is again claimed by Luis Italiano. He's been one of the busiest players on the pitch so far this afternoon, and a good ball up top. Brook might be there. As from one box to the other, Kalatz has to head up away from goal. Starting to turn into a very back and forth type of affair. Both teams trading attacks. Bayswater looking for the route one option. APIA with no real urgency to go out and get a third, although I'm sure they'd love it. The goal for Bayswater makes things very interesting, as Jordan Segredo made mention of when he was on the SBS Saturday watch-along last week that a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous most dangerous lead in football. Meanwhile, Bayswater on the attack, and as it just opened up for Deegan Brook. He's the man that is up top now for Bayswater. Has the big responsibility of carrying this attack forward now. As Hughes will come across to take. Matt Sparrow and his coaching staff watching on. 25 minutes plus stoppages for his team to get 2 goals and more. Hughes, back post this time. Kalatz has to punch and punches the second time. Edwards chips it back towards goal, and Bayswater have the goal that has them in with a chance. The 10 men of Bayswater City have got one back in the most unlikeliest of circumstances. And they now have 25 minutes to try and go after this game. As we take a look at the replay here, it comes back out and Edwards just chips it over. Kalatz had committed, and Aiden Edwards has his first goal in the Australian Championship and has thrown Bayswater City a massive lifeline in the context of this group. And now Franco Parisi goes to his bench and responds with a change. Presley Ortiz has been replaced by the 16-year-old Oscar Gonzalez, who is making his senior debut in a competitive fixture for West Apia. Did make his debut a little earlier in the year in a friendly match. Now Bayswater have also responded with a change. Plenty of movement down the bench. Mason Tatafu has been swapped out for Thomas Southgate. So Oscar Gonzalez, at just 16 years of age, has been thrust at the top of Apia's attack. As Bayswater still have time. There are best part of 25 minutes. And 2 goals, as they say, as Jordan Segredo said last week, is the most dangerous lead in football. And despite being down a man for the last 10 minutes, despite being without their striker, Bayswater City have found a goal. And meanwhile, the other change for Apia was Kasalovic coming on. And there's confirmation of that debut for Oscar Gonzalez. A big congratulations to him. And this is by no means a dead rubber game. This is one of the most important games in West Apia's modern history, with a spot in the inaugural Australian Championship quarterfinals on the line. And Franco Parisi turns to his 16-year-old debutant. Of course, they are a goal up, and the change was already being prepared. It looks like Fabian Monge was the man that was replaced by Maxim Kasalovic. So that's another like-for-like swap in midfield. As we could have some more subs up. Never mind, Jack Morgan is called for the drinks break. And again, like the first half drinks break, this one comes at a crucial juncture in this game. Bayswater just scoring a couple of minutes ago. And now both teams head to the benches for some refreshments. And perhaps more importantly than that, some instructions on how they're going to see out the final stages of this game. Bayswater are still in with a chance. We saw Wollongong almost complete an unlikely comeback. And Bayswater down a man and down 2 goals have 20 minutes plus more to try and get a draw, which would be enough for them to progress into the Australian Championship quarterfinals. Of course, coming into the group, not too many would have predicted Bayswater to be in this top 2. And now they're in with a chance because of this goal. And as we take a look at the replay here, Hughes with a good delivery in. There's a bit of pressure on Kalatz. Stevens was running in. Kalatz has to punch, and then it's confusion between Kalatz and his defenders. And Edwards takes full advantage of it. Just chips it over all, including Kalatz. Great technique, it must be said. Monge was backpedaling but couldn't get to it. And so Aiden Edwards, the 24-year-old midfielder, previously of Coburn City, Had a couple of appearances for Perth Glory, as mentioned, and has scored a crucial goal to keep Bayswater in this one. There's no doubt plenty of nervous watchers on from TK Shutter Reserve in Adelaide. And there's the Northeastern Metro Stars. Their hopes of getting into the quarterfinals rest on the result of this game. And a goal for Bayswater would not only see Bayswater into the top 2, but would knock out the Metro Stars. APIA looking to respond. Here is the debutant Gonzalez. His first touches in his debut. A strike comes in. Italiano saves. Caspers unable to get full power there. Now this game, which looked like it was cruising for an APIA victory, 2 goals up, a man up as well, has really changed off the back of that goal from Aiden Edwards. Kelly sliding it wide for Fong. How will APIA respond to having conceded now? Will they sit back in their shell, or will they go out in search of a third? I think the changes from Franco Parisi suggest that it's the latter option, and to be more attacking, he's kept the same back 4 out there, no changes. The only changes have been in midfield, and now this altered front 3. Presley Ortiz is still there, or has been, sorry, replaced by Gonzalez, so it is a new look front 3. Denmead, Gonzalez and Costanzo. Kelly, if it goes, comes to the feet of Bayswater and Hughes. May not be fully credited with an assist, but his delivery was good enough to trouble Kalatz as Kuda's touch takes him wide. Good tracking up front by Giles Davies. Fong. Gonzalez is fouled by Palmatier. Good hold-up play by the 16-year-old. Matt Sparrow is not pleased either with the foul or with the fact that West APIA are taking their time, I should say. There's Segredo playing ball boy for a little bit down there. You can see him in the crutches. He, of course, is out of the squad today. And Matt Sparrow's side. Interesting to know what was said to his team after that drinks break. There's now got to be some real belief from the West Australian Premiers that they can go on with this game and they can get an unlikely point on the road in Leichhardt. Costanzo finds Simmons in space. Of course, they are down a man, so these spaces will be there for APIA. As his pass is a little overhit, and that's good news if you're of a Bayswater persuasion, because they can reset now. And so there's the who you think will win poll. It's moved ever so slightly. It was at 80% in the first half in favour of West APIA. And so a couple of votes have gone Bayswater's way. And so 22% of you at home think Bayswater are going to get a couple goals out of this. It's a shame there's no option for a draw, because I think there'd be a few votes going that way maybe. And as Drayden Kelly on screen is trying to keep this defence intact. Wouldn't they love a late goal from Drayden Kelly, who has made a real habit out of that in this Australian Championship campaign and in the NPL New South Wales final series. Gonzalez is given something to chase. The youthful fresh legs of their substitute. Gonzalez couldn't find Farinella. Now it's with Hughes. Touches forward. Garnham, it's intercepted though. Gonzalez back to Caspers. APIA in search of the sealer. Caspers fires over. And they'll have those chances, APIA. Yes, they'll look to preserve what they have, but given the fact that they've been up a man for the last 20 minutes or so, this is going to be a very tired Bayswater City defence, especially considering they've given up most of the ball. Deegan Brook holding it up. Now Bayswater make their move forward. They're happy to be a bit more patient. Not quite kitchen sink time just yet. Palmatier into midfield. Davies is fouled over the back by Caspers, and This is exactly what you want if you're Bayswater City. Set pieces is where the man disadvantage means a little less, and that's going to be Davies' last involvement, it seems, as he is going to be substituted. And he is replaced by Takayuki Sone. So fresh legs in midfield now for Matt Sparrow. As Takayuki Sone will try and make a difference here. Now there's more subs being prepared on the West APIA bench. It looks like David DePuzzo is chatting things over with Adrian Uchino and Patrick Flotman. Some veteran presence going into this team perhaps. In comes the free kick. Kalatz punches again. This time it's a little more convincing. Garnham went to ground, couldn't win it, as I think Denmead was looking for the spectacular there on Italiano. Will be wiser to that one, will the veteran keeper. Hughes, long ball forward, right onto the chest of Apia. Takayuki Sone puts it forward again. Oh, lovely turn by Deegan Brook. Splits the Apia defence. And now Kelly goes in strongly. Play continues though. Bayswater on the hunt. Sone looking for the equaliser, an unlikely equaliser it would be. But they've shown good perseverance so far. Have the visitors. Costanzo. Gonzalez is trying to time his run. Still it's with Dom Costanzo. He has the fresh legs. He's met with Garnham. Tries to get around him. Couldn't find the pass. Sone. And Apia, they haven't made their games easy as of late. 93rd minute equaliser from Metro Stars last time out. At Leichhardt Oval that was. To secure a point. And then after that, it was last week, Friday night against Sydney United 58, when they needed Drayden Kelly again to win them all 3 points. So now more subs are coming. And it looks like Eddie Caspers will be replaced by Adrian Uchino. And Sean Simmons is going to be replaced by Patrick Flotman. So a defender off for a defender and a midfielder off for a midfielder. And now that is Apia's bench cleared in terms of outfield players. So they call on the experience of Patrick Flotman and the experience of Adrian Uchino to try and see out these final 15 minutes. As Uchino takes the captain's armband from Sean Simmons, two long-time Apia players who have been so integral to this club's modern success. Now swap over the armband, and well, again, Apia's depth is so crucial to helping them see out these games. And when you can bring on Patrick Flotman and Adrian Uchino off the bench, a lot of teams certainly love to be in that position. Denmead driving through midfield, has found Gonzalez, but the pass gets away from him. Southgate, oh, it's almost spilt there, and Gonzalez almost had a goal on debut after Southgate's pass was slightly under hit towards Italiano, but Bayswater City are able to clean things up in what would have been a killer blow to their quarterfinals hopes. Fong winning it back well. Denmead gets away from Davies, but can't get away from Hughes. It's a real scrap in midfield. Uchino just sends it forward, gives Gonzalez something to try and chase. Italiano, that time it's a bit cleaner from Bayswater. Sone. Mitchinson. 13 minutes plus stoppages remaining for Bayswater. Gonzalez is going to be the beneficiary of this big deflection. Here he is, Oscar Gonzalez. Good ball back post, but slightly overhit for Costanzo. It will work out though, because Michael Kuda has come across. He's now playing left back in place of Simmons. Costanzo. Apia happy to be patient. Uchino can strike them from range. Had that goal, which was crowned goal of the year in the NPL New South Wales against Wollongong from a similar sort of distance. And saw his chance to book Apia's spot in the quarterfinals. A rather nervous Franco Parisi watching on. Hoping his side will see things out. It's been a great game of football at Leichhardt Oval. It's given us everything, and we're not done yet. Gonzalez gets away from Stevens. Gonzalez tried to dance along the goal line. and has done well enough to win his side a corner. Has shown some real determination in his first few minutes in a competitive senior match for West APIA. And so APIA going to whip this one in. Not too many are in the box. They've got numbers stayed back. Only 5 have committed forward for APIA. Costanzo, good ball in. Drayden Kelly, again, is that lurking target. Costanzo does very well to keep that in. And even better to find the pass to Michael Kuda. And his only options were behind him. This is why APIA have brought in Dom Costanzo to just be that extra threat of attack on the wing as the commentator's curse strikes and he plays one out of play.
This afternoon's official attendance is 2,467.
Bayswater, again they look route one. Davies was the target, they couldn't find him. Sonne does very well, an outstretched right foot there. Deegan Brook plays it back to him as Sonne swings it wide. Southgate is on the charge. Thomas Southgate couldn't clear it past Flopman. And he's a very tall lad at the back as APIA have gone for some height, bringing in Patrick Flopman to play centre back, and switching Michael Kuda wide. And Kuda's of course quite good in the air, but it's just the extra inches that Flopman has alongside Drayden Kelly. As again it's a ball in the air, and again Patrick Flopman is underneath it. It requires a second attempt at getting under it before a high foot is ruled to have hit Maxim Kasalovic from Giles Davies. And the official crowd at Leichhardt Oval is 2,467. A great crowd at Leichhardt Oval for this Group D decider, and there's still 10 minutes still to play. No one will be going anywhere anytime soon. Kasalovic happy to just sit on it, as is Uchino. Farinella has called for it and has received. And now here is Fong. Gonzalez tries to make his move, as does Denmead. Fong takes it himself. It takes a big diversion off the back of Denmead, who didn't know too much about it. As Italiano again has his head up. His distribution has been very solid so far today, and they've tried to use that to their benefit, but with APIA's defense just sitting off now, it's going to be harder to find those long options up ahead of him. APIA playing around the back. Kasalovic, and they have to be careful here, APIA, as they are happy to play around the back, but Bayswater, all it takes is one error, and they have the players now committed forward to try and benefit from that. Sonne has his eyes up, and again, not much movement for Bayswater as he has to go back to his own defence. A lot of tired legs and bodies out there. It's been a long Australian Championship campaign. It's been a long NPL season as well for a lot of these players. Many have lodged 35, maybe even 40 games when you include state cups and the rest of it. And for players, this is all very new. Still getting adjusted to the longer season as Hughes is dispossessed. APIA swing it wide. Costanzo on the charge, as is Gonzalez. Still Dom Costanzo, beats his man and let fly from the top of the box. Deflected away by Bayswater. Kasalovic looking for the pass. As Denmead couldn't bring it under his control. Italiano goes quick and goes long. Deegan Brook is able to find him with success this time. As Brook is just waiting for more fluoro shots to join him. And as Kelly muscles him off the ball. Show of strength from the APIA defender. And he's asking for some options now as Matt Sparrow is running out of time for his team to get something from this game, to get into the quarterfinals. They've been top of this group at times of Bayswater City. And they're now at risk of bouncing out of the group stage. Costanzo, Bayswater wanted the flag, and the flag eventually came as Costanzo kicks it away. He might just receive a bit of a warning from Jack Morgan because of that. Italiano is pushing his troops up. Again, they go long. Again, APIA are able to take their time with it. Kudo lets it roll out of play. A big shift by Michael Kudo, has now shifted wide as there are the West APIA fans, the young kids, watching their senior team go at it. And they might be returning to Leichhardt Oval next week if this result were to hold, and if APIA were to get the 3 points. That Derby d'Italia quarterfinal awaits. Meanwhile, Matt Sparrow has gone to his bench again. And it is going to be Deegan Brook off in place of Alexander Ishida Livings. So Deegan Brook has worked very, very hard up top. We've seen him on the end of a lot of those Luis Italiano long balls, and he immediately drops to the pitch, and you don't blame him because he has done plenty of running. He's been very isolated at times with Bayswater having to defend, especially since going down to 10. Of course, started as a winger and then had to become a makeshift number 9 in place of McManus after that sending off on the 56th minute. 5 minutes remain, plus you'd think a decent amount of stoppage time now. APIA have turned it over. Bayswater looking to take advantage. The delivery is in, Flotman is up, and that's exactly what he's out there to do. In it comes again, and again Patrick Flotman is so comfortable in the air. And APIA will take more of that after the ball is put back into the mixer. Sliding it wide is Kalatz. APIA have to be careful that they don't turn it over cheaply out of the back like they've done a couple of times in the last 5 minutes. Costanzo takes a little too long trying to get the pass forward and gives away the throw. Southgate able to stop his progress alongside Sonne. There is Southgate in possession. Italiano. Again, floated forward into the attacking half. Chino takes no chances and has found Costanzo wide. APIA, third, would seal it for them. Costanzo going forward. Gonzalez is trying to time his run. There are numbers in the box. Costanzo, it's there for APIA, and then it's tapped in. And it's going to be a goal on debut for Oscar Gonzalez. Didn't know too much about it, but him and Denmead work it all out in the end as APIA catch Bayswater on the break. And a special moment for the 16-year-old who scores on debut and has surely sent APIA now to the quarterfinals of the Australian Championship as we take a look at the replay. And well, Denmead or Gonzalez, it goes back to Denmead, it ricochets off Gonzalez. In it comes, a good ball in by Costanzo, and well, Denmead will be thankful that Gonzalez touched that because it looked like he might have skewed his shot rather waywards, as Gonzalez is now on the board in his senior career. 1 appearance for APIA, 1 goal to his name. And it now means APIA restore their 2-goal buffer. And despite Bayswater's consistent pressure and despite their unlikely comeback, APIA's substitute has brought that to an end, as, well, unlikely end maybe, as Bayswater still have a bit of time, but APIA are on the charge for a 4th perhaps. Here is Denmead trying to get past Sonne. It was a big change for Franco Parisi to make, to bring off their highest scorer this season, Presley Ortiz, the man who had 18 goals in the NPL, the man that came second in the NPL Golden Boot race, and to hand a debut to 16-year-old Oscar Gonzalez. But the teenager has repaid his coach's faith in full and more, as his goal now has them in front. APIA might be content with putting this into the corner, you'd think, as Denmead is trying to do that. Instead he goes to Fong. Fong has won it back in a good area. Gonzalez might think about 2 here if he can get onto that pass, as Mitchinson is trying to shield it out of play. but ultimately has to concede a corner due to the pressure from Gonzalez. Now the APIA fans are a little happier. Dances from the kids. They were a bit nervous a few minutes ago, but Gonzalez has made it a little more of a sure thing. And again, it's the substitutes. Costanzo will pick up the assist for that goal, or maybe it'll be credited to Denmead. APIA won't put this in the corner. They'll put it back into the area. Good ball in by Costanzo, punched away by Italiano. Garnham, his pass to Sonny is picked off by Kasalovic. Costanzo stands up the defense. Inventive pass for Alex Denmead. Couldn't add his name to the score sheet, but again, Costanzo is really at the center of all things good for West APIA at the moment as Bayswater play quickly out of the back. And so, as it stands right now, Metro Stars will finish in second spot and will travel to Melbourne to take on Heidelberg in the quarterfinals. And West APIA can play Marconi in the Derby d'Italia. Now, Gonzalez is going to be onside here. The flag is down. He could add a second here. Oscar Gonzalez to make it two. And might have taken it a bit too easy and maybe had more time than he would have thought there, Gonzalez. I think he just was taking his time and ultimately took too much time to put it past Italiano. As Bayswater's defense was caught out in the offside trap. As we take a look at the replay here, Italiano slipped for a moment as Gonzalez tried to chip it past him, as he knows that was a big chance to make it a second goal on debut. What a debut it has been already, and it could have been even better. Denmead. Kuda has joined the attack from fullback. His pass is taken though. Bayswater just can't find Stevens. As Jackson Stevens has gone to the attack. Meanwhile, Adrian Uccino showing his skills and touches. And Jackson Stevens, the centre-back, has now become a makeshift striker. 5 minutes of time have been added on. We've already had a minute of that. Here is Gonzalez. Can't get past Palmateer, but does enough to win inside a corner. And if you're Franco Parisi, you are ecstatic not only with the goal from Oscar Gonzalez, but you are happy with his work rate.
Beg your pardon, 5 minutes at a time. 5 minutes.
Stanzo will come across to take this corner. He is in no hurry. There's Franco Parisi watching on now. Just the final touches on this one for him and his team. Costanzo. Again, they look for Drayden Kelly. It's back there for APIA. Now it's with Kelly. Kasalovic, Drayden Kelly to add a fourth. Deflected and cleared. Only as far as Uccino. APIA still on the charge here. Gonzalez had another opportunity. Kasalovic was looking to play him in perhaps, and now Bayswater have lumped it up. Nodded on by Davies towards Jackson Stevens, the centre-back, who has gotten forward here. Bayswater needing a miracle. Fantastic tracking back by Franco Farinella, who hasn't put a foot wrong all game. The midfielder. Turned away as Hughes. 2.5 minutes of the minimum 5 have gone. Bayswater needing 2 goals in quick succession to progress to the quarterfinals. Metro Stars having won earlier today against Sydney United 58, occupied that second spot. Denmead picks over the ball, and now Costanzo has found his way behind the defence. Hughes giving chase. Costanzo to make it 4. He puts the finishing touches on what will be APIA progressing to the quarterfinals of the Australian Championship. He found himself in behind the defence, and Costanzo, who has been so good since coming on, now has goal number 2 in the Australian Championship. Had all the time to pick his spot, and he got it past Italiano. And despite Bayswater's attempts at coming back, APIA make it 2 goals down the stretch. as Bayswater chase the game. And APIA will fly into the quarterfinals atop of Group D and will be in plenty of form against this man's former side, the Marconi Stallions. And they will meet next weekend at Leichhardt Oval. There's a bit of a delay in getting this ball back for the kickoff. There's plenty of cheers go up around Leichhardt Oval. He was brought in to do just that. Dom Costanzo signed for the Australian Championship after a great NPL season. One of just a couple of new signings to Franco Parisi's squad. And when Jack Stewart went down with an ankle knock, it looked like APIA were going to really have to sit in potentially against Bayswater, who had just scored. Or sorry, who would eventually score a little later after the red card. But APIA have put all doubts to rest as they lodge a second killer blow to extend their lead now. It's their largest lead of the contest. Denmead, APIA aren't done yet. They want to make it 5. They've already scored 4 in the championship against United. Farinella, could it be his hat-trick maybe? They're queuing up APIA. Kasalovic, his shot goes wide. And so full-time at Leichhardt Oval. West APIA put in a good display against Bayswater City. A result which means APIA will finish top of the group. And there are plenty of cheers over in Adelaide as the Metro Stars will progress after Bayswater drop out of the top 2. And unfortunately for Bayswater, their solid Australian Championship campaign comes to an end. They showed so much and were ultimately so close. And goal difference will separate them from outside of the top 2. So goals to Farinella, Gonzalez and Costanzo at the end. Cancel out Edwards' goal in the second half after the red card. And all that means it's West APIA 4, Bayswater City 1. And there is Casper shaking hands. He had a great game in midfield, as we'll take you through the highlights from what was an action-packed 90 minutes at Leichhardt Oval. 5 goals and a red card to recap for you. And this was how APIA got things started. Stewart played a great pass forward to Ortiz, and then Ortiz picked his moment, picked the pass, and found Farinella for what would be APIA's first goal. And then here's the second. Farinella again finding himself in space as Bayswater are caught out at the back. Found that gap at the near post too, to lodge his second goal in the first half and double APIA's advantage right before the break. Here is the red card. A challenge from behind and studs up from McManus. And then he was given his marching orders early in the second half, which made it very difficult for Bayswater to come back. They were 2 goals down at that stage of the game. But they would peg an unlikely goal back. Kalas came and punched, and then he would punch a second time. A bit of confusion from APIA. And Edwards loops it overall as Aiden Edwards got an important goal to make it very interesting in the final stages of this contest, but it wasn't to be for Bayswater as Costanzo, the fresh legs would pay off. All 3 of APIA's substitutes involved. Denmead's shot goes back off the shins of Gonzalez, who claims a goal on debut for the 16-year-old. A special moment and a big congratulations to him, as he was thrown in a very important game of baptism of fire of sorts. As APIA would make it even more comfortable in stoppage time. Costanzo gets a deserving goal, slots it past Italiano to make it 4 goals for West APIA to equal their highest scoring effort from a couple of games ago at Leichhardt Oval against Sydney United 58. And on that day it was Costanzo with the 4th, and again it's Costanzo with the 4th here today. So here are the stats, and well, no surprises from what is on your screen. APIA dominate the shot count and the shots on target and the corners, after having plenty of the ball and after being upper man for the best part of 40 minutes. And so here are the results from the weekend. A great set of results. And so Spirit FC have held up against Canberra Croatia. They took a 1-0 lead in the first half at Deakin Stadium. And so Spirit will join West APIA and the Marconi Stallions as 3 NPL New South Wales teams to go through to the quarterfinals. It is all set now for the knockout stages of the Australian Championship. Just 3 games separate all the quarterfinalists from taking out the inaugural trophy. So that's how the group stand. South Melbourne continue their undefeated streak. Them and Morton City progress from Group A. Heidelberg will take on Metro Stars at home after finishing top of Group B. And West Apia will face Marconi Stallions from Group B as well. And the Derby d'Italia after the Wollongong Wolves came so close to doing the unthinkable. There is Group C, with Spirit having leapfrogged the Preston Lions after their win against Canberra, Croatia. Avondale sit nice and pretty at top of the group. They're also undefeated. South Melbourne, Heidelberg, and Avondale are the three undefeated teams. There is Group D, the final shakeout of all things there. Metro Stars lobbying over Bayswater City thanks to goal difference, and West Apia's win here today as those two progress into the final 8. A great day of action across the Australian Championship. It's been a great group stage so far, and we capped it off with a fantastic one at Leichhardt Oval. 5 goals for your enjoyment, as there are all the scenes and all the smiles from the APIA fans as they progress to a home quarter final. And that's goodbye from us for the group stage, and we'll see you back for the quarterfinals next weekend. I've been Will Constantinides. A big thank you from wherever you're watching, and we'll see you next weekend.